Hello again, and welcome to another day of the 12 Days of Christmas. And I do hope you're enjoying it all so far and getting a few ideas with stash that you've already got, because I'm sure you've got something that would help. But if not, there's always things that you can treat yourself to as well, on a must-have basis, of course, a need basis. Anyhow, so today I'm bringing you a stencil. This one is called the Star Stream Stencil. Blah, blah, blah. And it's from Creative Expressions, and it's a really lovely background for the Slimline cards that are around at the moment. So that's what I'm going to incorporate it with. I've got it onto a piece of ordinary smooth white card, and I'm just going to tape it into position just to make it a little bit easier for me to work on. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape, but that's the only reason. It's so it's just not moving around a bit, really. You could put some spray, some repositional spray on the background as well. I'm going to be using 2 Oxide inks. I'm using the Oxide so that they blend better. I'm using Chipped Sapphire, and I'm using Stormy Sky. Seems to be in a blue stage at the moment, I do. I'm going to start off with the Chipped Sapphire, and I've got my brush ready. And I'm just going to go over the whole of my area here. So I'm just picking up some ink and I'm just going over the whole of this area. So I'm just picking up in all of these areas. So it's called a star stream, and it is, as it says on the packet, a stream of stars, but also some little sort of baubles along the way. So it's a really pretty one to use. I don't mind about going over the edges because I'm going to be trimming this down a little bit for my design today. And I'm going to just make sure that I've gone all over, and then in some places a little bit darker than others. So I can see that I've now covered it all, but then I'm just going to go over some of the stars a second time, just so that I can make sure that some of them are going to be a little bit darker than others. Okay, in that corner I think, and that should be about right. So I've got some pale and some not so pale. So I'm then going to just wipe off the excess to a certain extent onto a microfiber cloth, which I keep by the side. It just takes the worst of it off, because I'm going to use the same one, and I'm going to take off my panels so that I can see what we've got, pick that up, and I shall just pop some water onto that in a minute to clean that off. It will stay wet like that for a long time. Then I'm going to bring in my Stormy Sky. So this is a lot lighter. Oh, well, that's clever, isn't it? That's not Stormy Sky. Oh, blimey, let's just check. I hadn't noticed that. Just check if the Wilty Violet. I thought, well, that doesn't look like it. Actually, it would make it look really good. Deliberate mistake this morning. Stormy Sky. I'm going to pick some of that up, and as you can see, it's a much lighter blue. I'm going to bring that in and just go over the whole of the background. And I know that I'm going to be smudging, as such, my stars that I've already got on there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to be blending it all in one. And as I said, I know that I'm going to be trimming this down as well, so I'm not worried about going over the edges and whatever. So I'm just going over so that the whole of my background has got the Stormy Sky in, and it will have taken some of the crispness, I suppose you could call, of the Chipped Sapphire, but it's just taking it all down and making it all as one. So it's quite a nice background. I can still see my stars on there, but not as strongly. So I'll pop pop them to one side, and I'm going to pop that to one side, just letting it dry off a little bit, because the oxides, as we've said before, do get very, very wet, and they will be wet for some hours actually, because they are supposed to be sort of activated by a bit of water if you want to, but I'm not actually going to worry about that. I'm going to just leave that as it is, and I'm just going to leave that to one side whilst I bring in the other bits and pieces. So I'm going to make a DL card today. So this is my DL card, and I've cheated a little bit for you today, because I know that you've got lots of things to do, and I know that you don't want to be watching what I've got to do every bit of the way. So here's my DL card. Now, I've taken the Decorative rectangle frame dies from Sue Wilson, and I've taken them twice. So I've cut them out in white, and I've also cut them out in black. And all I've done is stuck the two together and then just shadowed it very, very slightly, so it's slightly out of kilter there, so that you can see I've got that little bit of shadow even with the black. Actually, I think I prefer it that way round, so that my shadow is at the top. I've then also made myself a frame. I've used the Presscut DL frames for this one, and I've taken the largest die and the second one down, and then I've missed 3, and I've taken the next 2 down to give me that design. So that is going to fit over, and making it look as if it's sort of like a bit of a picture frame, the old sort of negative frames, which I think looks quite nice. So that's the idea. Okay, and then the piece that I've just done is going to be in the background, sort of like this. So you get the idea. We've got this going on there. So just going to put that to one side, because I have a couple of little friends that want to join in on that party, and those couple of little friends are my 2 little chappies here. So 2 of the small penguins, which are from 2J's. Really, really simple to just add a little bit of colour, but you don't have to add any, but I just want to add a little bit of colour with these and just finish them off like that, which I think would look really fab. But before I stamped them, and then I thought, you know what, I need to say to you about how to stamp these. So I'm just going to bring these in to show you. So I'm going to colour them with alcohol markers, marker pens, and therefore I need to use my Memento ink, my black Memento ink. But also you may find sometimes with these sorts of stamps rather, that because you've got a lot of area here, I don't know if you can see it very well, probably better like that, you've got a lot of area here which is sort of potentially easy to press down and get all that bit there which shouldn't be coming off on your card. So let me show you on the back of this one what I mean. So if I was to stamp these up with my ink and then press down hard, and you see I've already got, from the tummy of this one, I've already got a sticky mark, which is a bit of a nuisance. Okay, so I don't really want that effect. So because we've got a stamping platform, it does make life a little bit easier. Now I'm just going to give that a little bit of a wash, because I don't want to start off with potential problems. So I'm just going to wipe his tummy so that it is a little bit better. But what I find is that if you just do this all very, very gently and you're not worried too much, the fact that you've got to keep going over it a couple of times, hopefully, she says, famous last words, you do find that you get a better image if you just do it gently. So I'm just going to gently press, not going to squash it or anything, and you can see already, hopefully, that hasn't come out properly yet. But neither, touch wood, have we got a dirty belly. So if we just stamp it again, ink it up I should say, and then just stamp, and I'm really just pressing down a little bit. We're beginning to build it up now. And then just go over that again. And then finally, one more time, just for luck, but hopefully if you do it that way, you might have to, it's not because I haven't put enough ink on there, it's that I'm not giving it the kiss of life and pressing down and whatever. Just build up those colours rather than press down hard, which you would possibly do with other dies, other stamps, and then risk getting that dirty mark, and then you've ruined it again. So because you've got a stamping platform, because you can keep on stamping in the same place, just gently do it and then keep layering it up until you have got an image that you're pleased with. And I find that that really does help. So that's our lovely little penguins. And I'm just going to take one of my blues, because we're in a blue phase, as we said, and I'm just going to colour in his scarf. So just a very basic colour. I'm not going to worry too much about anything else there. I'm going to give him a little bit of colour there, and his little scarf here. And then our other little chap down here has got a similar scarf on, so we're just going to give him same colour blue. Not going to worry about changing colours. Obviously you may well like to be really colourful and change it all, but just for the purpose of just showing you how this goes, just doing it like that. And a little bit of his ear muffs. And then I'm just going to take a sort of light orange, it's called, just to colour his beak in, just so that he looks a little bit cute. Okay, then I'm going to take my scissors and just going to trim both of these out. Really simple ones, nothing too difficult. I'm just going to cut around there. So the Starstream stencil is available as is. So are the penguins. The penguins, I'm afraid, are limited. I know that they are only just a few left of those, because you may well have them in your stash already. But if you want to get the last chance of getting hold of any of the little penguins, then you need to pop over to the website. It's all on the 12 days of Christmas, and don't forget, every order that's placed over this full 12 days of Christmas will be entered into a prize draw, and I'm beginning to think it's going to look as if there's more than one prize, because you're all being very, very lovely and helping me to show you all these things, and you're all loving them, so which is great. So I'm just going to finish doing this little chap. I don't really need to do his feet very much because they're going to be hidden, but nevertheless I feel awkward to chop him off in his prime, so let's just cut this one out. Oops. And then we've got the two penguins. You could go for 3, but I'm kind of thinking that a little sentiment might be better for the third little window. Again, trim round. So at this stage you'd like it to be fastened up, wouldn't you? Quickened up, whatever's the word. So obviously the stencils work really well with glitter pastes, and there is another video with another stencil that is using the glitter paste, and all of them can be done in such a way so that's, you know, lots of mix and matches going on. So there's our lovely little penguins, a little pair of penguins. And I'm just going to choose a sentiment that I want to go in the centre there. Let's just check. Just checking that this one fits in. I think it does. Doesn't really, does it? Really wanted a smaller one than that. You know what it's like. I make it up as we go along. But I think it will have to be that. I haven't got the other one there at this moment in time. So we'll have to go with that. Okay. So let's just pop this all together. Now I'm going to take my patterned stencil piece that we had, and I'm just going to trim that down so that it fits onto my card. If I trim it down to about 10 centimetres wide, so I'm just trimming off the excess, don't need that bit, and trim off to about 10. And then just check that that sits on there nicely. Yep, that sits on there perfectly. I think I'll just trim a little bit off. So I want it a bit smaller inside. So let's tell you what the final measurements are. So 9.5. We've gone to 9.5 there. And that would be to 20.5. So it just fits in there nicely. So that can now go straight onto my card front. Okay, so I'm just sticking that down. I'm going to use a little bit of foam tape, and then we will see how that goes. So I'm just going to put that there. There isn't a right or wrong way, just whichever way you fancy for it to go. I'm going to put that into position, and then I'm just going to check that that is how I want it. I think what I actually will do is I will stick this first. So let's just put some glue around there, because it's more important that we've got that bit straight. So let's just put that onto there, knowing that that bit is even. Just press that down there. And we turn it over, and now I can put some foam onto there. I'm going to use 3mm foam onto this one. Or could use black, couldn't I? Maybe I should use black, but not everyone's got black, so we'll just use what we've got. So this is the 3mm one, and I'm going to make sure that not only have I got it on the top to bottom, but I'm going to put it in these two panels here as well, because otherwise we might get a sag in the middle. And we do not need a sag in the middle, do we? Not a saggy bottom and no sag in the middle either. So that's all our tape in place, and I'm going to take off the backings. Going to add a bit of wet glue onto these, partly to help it have a bit of wiggle room, partly help it stay on for longer, and also, which I didn't know, partly that it cuts down on the anti-static side of the mere fact that you've taken the tape off. So let's place this into position so that that's just in on our card there. And you hopefully can see that you've already got this lovely frame here, which is just looking as if it's looking at a cinema type of thing. Okay, and then our little chappies. Now, our little chappies will need to be cut down a little bit, because he needs to sort of slot in there, and that little one down there. So I just want him to lose his feet, I think. Just going to chop his feet off in his prime. so that he sits in there like that. And then this little one comes down the bottom there like that. Okay, now how are you going to fit them in? You can just pop them down with a bit of glue there, but I still like the little scarves and that to sit uppermost. So therefore, I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape onto the back of them and just, out you come little chap, just fit them in there like that. So I've just put a bit of foam tape on the back, a bit of glue on that, and then slot him back into place so that he is sort of uppermost there. And the same with this little man here. That's where I stamped it incorrectly on the other side. And then this little one here. And he can fit right down there in the corner. So you've got your little penguins poking out, and because you've got the colour going on, you've got the blues in the background and you've got blues of the side there, I think that looks really, really nice. Now I just want to put a sentiment, and I'm not quite sure whether this one is going to work. I'm going to cut it out, but I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to like it or not, because it's not quite the one that I wanted. So let me just see, and if not, I'll use another one. The only reason that I'm not going to use this, if I'm not going to use it, is because it's too big to go into the aperture. So let's just, so this one says from me to you, which is not really Merry Christmas, is it? Or anything of the sort. I think we really need a Merry Christmas, to be honest. But I'm just going to show you this, and then when you see it all finished and you look at that, you'll be able to see. Got to take all the little bits out, it's no good. I will change this to a Merry Christmas or a Season's Greetings, because I think that would look better. But I just want to make sure that I've got all the pieces out. And so that, if you see what I mean, it doesn't quite fit in there, but the Merry Christmas and the Season's Greetings do. But there you go. Nice sentiment of your choice in there. And I just think that looks quite a cute one, isn't it? Quite a cute one for you today. So as I said, we have used some decorative rectangle frames from Sue Wilson's collection. We have used that in black and in white. I have used a Creative Expressions Star Stream Stencil, Slimline one, all the S's, to make up my background, and I've used the colours Stormy Sky and Chipped Sapphire in the Distress Oxide so that it's a creamier and more blended finish. I've then taken the 2J's little penguins, and I've just taken a couple of those, coloured them and just popped them onto a bit of foam. And I've also used the Presscut DL Nesting die sets, the plain ones, which will be coming in again, but I'm afraid won't be probably in before Christmas, but we have got them coming as well, so do look out for those. And that's your another day finished of your 12 days of Christmas. Don't forget, lovely comments are always welcome. Well, any comments are always welcome, but hopefully they're lovely ones when you've finished watching. And join me again tomorrow for another day. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.